Well, local governments struggle all the time with an increase on the demand for services, but less resources.
And we believe that it's incumbent upon government to be fiscally prudent to look at those opportunities for shared services.
We're always looking for opportunities to save ratepayers and taxpayers money by these combined services.
And IGAs to me are a quicker means of being able to put our resources together and make something good come of it.
It makes a lot of sense where we can to work well with the county.
We have a very informal agreement with the county where we each serve each other's needs as we see fit.
You know, when we talk about our shared services, we're really all facing the same taxpayers when we go out to justify what we're doing as a local government.
And I think it helps us both out because we can keep more full-time employees in a specific area in their area of expertise, where if we split those things up, it would be very difficult.
I think there's definitely a positive, both sides get to benefit from this agreement that we have.
Well, local governments struggle all the time with an increase on the demand for services, but less resources. So we have to be creative and we have to try to be problem solvers. And we're really proud of the fact that we have a great team here at the City of Montrose, but we have a great team as a region working with the City of Ouray, the County of Ouray, the Town of Telluride, Mountain Village, Ridgeway, and City of Delta. We really all collaborate and try to come up with the best ways to serve the public. And so far it's working out really well. Well, we're really proud that we have shared service agreements with a lot of the municipalities around us. The smaller towns need a lot of our support, and we're proud to be the leaders on the Western Slope as far as helping some of our neighbors. We really want to be in that leadership role, and we're starting to get known across the region and statewide for that role. We've worked with our local recreation district, our neighboring towns, nonprofits, transit system, downtown development authority. All of those shared services, it's really a win-win for both sides. For us, during the downturn of the economy, it was a way that we could maintain our employment base. But for all of the smaller entities, it was a good way for them to save money. They would contract with us. We'd do it at cost for them, so they didn't have to pay a profit markup. They were able to save money at the same time. We would preserve jobs and maintain the level of employment here at the city.
From a shared service standpoint within information technology, we are working with our local recreation center, our local bus authority, and then City of Delta as well. We're helping them out. We've worked with City of Ouray. We've helped Olathe out with some connections back for law enforcement data as well. You know, from an IT standpoint, we receive a lot more phone calls than normally we might, because it's now not just our organization. We also have to prioritize those calls as they come in. You know, what is critical? You know, it's more projects for the IT department. But we're able to help them out, make the cost savings to them, as well as, you know, help the taxpayers out within the area. So we do everything from, like with the rec center, we've connected their network into ours. And so we provide network support, server support, we provide them a phone system, as well as desktop support. So very similar with our local transit authority. With the City of Delta, we've provided all their IT support as of late. And we are providing network support, server support, and again, desktop support for Delta. The IT team last year won IT Team of the Year through the state of Colorado for a lot of what we did with the interactive monitors in this location. So that's been it's gotten a lot of publicity from that.
You know, when we talk about our shared services, we're really all facing the same taxpayers when we go out to justify what we're doing as a local government. And so it's nice to be able to go out and use our local recreation district as an example. Just our shared service agreement with the recreation district saves the taxpayers about $160,000 a year in taxes that they would otherwise have to pay to that rec district for employees doing HR work, administrative financial work, as well as grounds maintenance and that type of thing. Well, I think when any entity can save money as local government, we're not here to make a profit. So anytime we can save money, we actually take that savings and put it into more services for the community. And so we've seen that with All Points Transit, our local transit authority. We've seen it with our downtown development authority and with the recreation district.
The City of Leadville and Lake County has been in an intergovernment agreement for the animal shelter since 2004, and it has been our shining star with city and county working together, and is really a model that we hope to put forward in a lot of our other agencies.
This is the best IGA in the state because every year we have the option, whether it be city or county, to sit down and renegotiate the IGA. This IGA, as far as I'm concerned, hasn't been negotiated in over a decade. And so that being said, it's a well-oiled machine.
And so it's a 50-50 split between the city and the county as far as funding, although the city handles all of the budgetary issues and all of the billing, and we pay our employees directly, and we just get reimbursed from the county by 50%.
So yeah, we work really well with the city and the county. The sheriff's departments, they bring in stray animals as well as the police department. And those guys work well together. Sometimes you'll see the sheriff and a police officer, you know, because they went out on the same, because they're not sure of the animal, you know, and the animals are scared, so they can show that they're vicious. But once, you know, they come in here and you know, calm them down in that, then they're okay. In Leadville and in Lake County, we do have a lot of feral cat population, and they generally, where we're finding them, they're born underneath homes, trailers. Gosh, we've even had them hanging out underneath a Coke machine on 6th Street. So basically, when they come in, if they're young enough, we can help them domesticate them. And then people will come in, you know, throughout the day to look at the animals, or great donations. We have a lot of the community's great support for donations here for Dog Food Net.
So the city of Leadville is about 1 square mile, and Lake County is about 7,500 registered voters and populace. And we have 2 major cities in Lake County. We have Leadville, and then we have Twin Lakes. And since we have such a condensed square mile, if you will, of the city limits, it makes a lot of sense where we can to work well with the county, because a lot of homes are just outside the boundary of the city of Leadville, but they feel like they are Leadville and they have a Leadville address. So we do have a lot of fiscal constraints with Leadville that we're constantly working with budgetary issues. And so where we can duplicate services makes sense for the citizens of Leadville and Lake County, and also for the city's bottom line budget.
This is another good example of 2 governments working together, 2 entities working together. And IGAs to me are a quicker means of being able to put our resources together and make something good come of it. Well, this is not dual services. This is a single service that's provided to both city and county in one location. And so that being said, we work with a very small staffing to take care of a county of over 8,000 people. So a lot of good things going on, and all of our fuzzy little friends are doing great.
We have a very good working relationship with the county. We have 5 full-time people here at the town, and 2 of them are with Public Works and Streets. So the county has all the big equipment. They do all our snow plowing. They do our road maintenance in the spring. We blade all the dirt roads in the spring, and then apply dust control and take care of them to get them ready for the summer when we have heavy traffic.
We have a very informal agreement with the county where we each serve each other's needs as we see fit. The county actually works closer with us than we do with them because they have more equipment, more manpower. We rely on them for many of our winter services. Albeit informal, the agreement still, there's a cost to it. You know, no services come for free, or let's say very few services come for free. So we get a very good price though for the services they provide, better than we can contract out. In other towns I know you can have snowplow services or larger companies that do that in bigger cities, but since we don't have that option here, we use the county in place of subcontractors or outside contractors.
So the county, we have agreements with the county that they also give us shared sales tax, and they remit some of the taxes they get per road and bridge back to us so that we will have money to keep our streets maintained. We do budget about $40,000 to reimburse the county for their work on streets every year. If it wasn't for the county, I don't think the town could ever pull off the level of maintenance that we're able to do. And I think it helps us both out because we can keep more full-time employees in a specific area in their area of expertise, where if we split those things up, it would be very difficult. We have a shared agreement with the sheriff, which I think works really well. They do community policing and are very much part of the community and are present at every event, and people know them well, and it's always been a very good relationship. We have a shared relationship with the building inspector, and we have, we do depend on each other a lot. Like if we have an election that we can't handle, the county clerk will help us out, and it's a very, it's a community. The county and the city work as a community.
The police presence in the school has been instrumental as far as improving behavior. Policy has improved and changed due to the involvement. Our buildings are more secure. It helps us in that way, and from the city side, I think it helps them with a more positive PR approach between students and the police department.
It's a great program for both the city and for the school. This is a program that helps us work within the school, and it's all part of community policing. We get to know the kids while they're young. We work with them. It's another way that we can help find out what's going on within our community and work within our schools to solve problems before they occur and be a benefit for all combined.
School district finances, the last 7 years have been steadily declining. I can assure you that from the school district side, we could never afford to pay for one solely on our own. So the amount of agreements and cooperation on both ends to make this work, I think there's definitely a positive. Both sides get to benefit from this agreement that we have.
Obviously my main duty is safety and security of staff and students here. I am involved with a lot of activities as far as drills, things like that for security for staff and students. I also have several teaching segments that I go into classrooms and interact with kids. I do drug and alcohol classes at the middle school 8th grade health level, anything from defensive driving. I've got a constitutional law segment that I'm doing, and it works out really well because I can get in and I can talk with the kids and have a lot of interaction with them. I do have a segment that's question and answer. It was amazing to me how many very good questions that today's youth have as far as law enforcement, that I'll basically just stand in front of a classroom and let them just fire questions at me and I can answer them. I do an American government segment to where we go in and we talk about constitutional law, things like that.
With Officer Malone being here within the school, he can help talk about real life situations with the students and work through a lot of those problems before they do occur. And if they do occur, he's just an extra set of ears within the community, and listening to the kids, we are able to solve and fix a lot of the problems.
And I think what's really important with this program is it kind of bridges the gap between today's youth and law enforcement, especially in this day and age. Sometimes law enforcement is kind of getting a bad rap by some of the media, and so it works out really pretty good because they see me as somebody they can talk to. I've got an office here and I've got an office at the middle school, and on any given day there would be students that would come in and either have a question or they might have an issue at home that I can help them deal with or work through it, or at least get them pointed in the right direction for resources that might help them with whatever issue they're having.
The agreement comes up every couple of years for renewal, and essentially what it does is it shares the costs that we spend on a school resource officer between the school district and the city. It's on an annual basis about a 40-60 split. As far as the financing on that goes, we supply all of the equipment, the cars, the car, uniforms, all of that comes out of our budget. We have a reimbursement agreement with the school district that then covers their percentage of what the overall annual cost is for salary and all the other things that go along with the position. It pays off huge. Obviously the school district gets some benefits of having a police officer here in the building, but from our perspective, community policing goes far beyond just being out in the community. In this scenario, we have a full-time officer that meets with the children some of them may be at at-risk homes that have frequent contacts with the police outside of the school day. Officer Malone can then key in and assist those kids with issues that may be going on in their family, can make the school aware of issues that are going on with the family, and improve the education for the individual kids, but also help assist us in community policing in a way where we can get intelligence and information about what's going on in our community to help prevent crime from happening in the first place.
We utilize them anytime that school's not in session. If there's something that major happens, we can call him back out of the school as an extra resource, but we really we see the importance of him being here, so we try to really minimize how much time we do pull him out of the schools.
As you heard from the principal, Ben Bauman, school funding is becoming harder and harder. They have so many different programs they have to administer. It's hard to find the money for all of the needs that they have, and this is an opportunity for us to work together to maximize, I think, a service that benefits the schools and the community in a way that prevents crime, helps the individual students, and makes sure that the schools are a safe place. We do have other shared services that we have with the water district. Morgan County Quality Water has an interconnect agreement with the City of Fort Morgan. We share services. This has saved our ratepayers here in the City of Fort Morgan somewhere around $3 million in capital improvement projects that we had in store and in planned. So we're always looking for opportunities to save ratepayers and taxpayers money by these combined services.
Well, when we first started the police department, the question came up was what is the name of the police department going to be? And so at a town board meeting or a town council meeting where everybody was present, the elected officials decided to flip a coin, and Fraser won the coin toss, and as a result it became the Fraser Winter Park Police Department.
And it was probably one of the best moves that we've made. We have an amazing police chief, we have an amazing team. They exercise community policing in a way that is a model, I think, for other organizations. And our business community is incredibly supportive. The public has been very supportive. Our elected officials have been incredibly supportive. It's really something that's worked out better than expected.
The town of Winter Park pays for approximately 63% of law enforcement services. The town of Fraser pays for approximately 37% of law enforcement services, and that's based on call load that we have for the respective communities.
One of my first objectives was to hire the kind of staff that I knew would be good community-oriented officers, people that lived in the community, had strong relationships with people that lived in the community, and then we set about building and developing those relationships so that when an officer walks into a business or somebody's house, we really want our citizens to know that officer by his first name, and that has been a tremendous benefit.
Well, clearly when you have two towns that are fairly close in proximity and fairly close in culture and ideology, that I think they're a great way to provide reduced cost services to taxpayers.
Having two municipal codes is very seldom a problem because most of the law enforcement related ordinances that we have enacted in both towns at the same time. And as a result, theft in one town has the same elements as theft in the other town. The only differences we ever run into are things like building codes, zoning codes, that kind of thing.
Clearly, we couldn't afford to do this individually, either Fraser or Winter Park, so the taxpayers do benefit greatly by having a combined service to allow for the levels of service that we do have here, as well as to accommodate the taxpayer or the revenue base in both Winter Park and Fraser.
Fraser, like Winter Park, it's a great organization, great community, but we're small. We need to find ways to provide the highest level of service we can within our limited resources.
We also share building services with the town of Fraser and the town of Granby. That particular department has been in operation since 2006. And we also have an equipment sharing IGA with the town of Fraser, where we will share public works employees and equipment should they need to use specialized equipment that either town has. So we can borrow equipment from them, they can borrow equipment from us.
We also have a broad-based IGA with Town of Winter Park, which is, I refer to it as a staff and equipment sharing IGA, where pretty much anything we can share back and forth from equipment that we have that Winter Park doesn't have, or vice versa, to an employee with special expertise on a special project. We have IGAs with our local recreation district, school district, fire district, and quite a few others.
We studied a number of different options as to what to do with our fire department that was struggling to keep up with personnel needs as well as capital equipment and facilities. After looking at service delivery diagrams and looking at the offerings that Denver would have, that we would be best serviced by entering into an agreement with them for fire and EMS services.
We looked at response times, types of calls, our resources, the resources that the city of Inglewood had, and looked to see what would make sense as far as delivering emergency services. So once we sat down and realized that Denver surrounds 3 sides of Inglewood's borders, and that we have some of our stations that are in near vicinity of the Inglewood borders, and using our resources combined with their resources, we figured we could use the economies of scale to come up with a more efficient way of delivering emergency services, at the same time being able to reduce response times but increase the amount of resources that are available for the citizens.
We've had some new services that we haven't been able to provide before on our own, and previously had to rely on other affordable options such as mutual aid and automatic response from our other surrounding jurisdictions. Heretofore, before June 1st, it would take us the ability to put 3 engines on a fire, and now on average we have 9 within a 4-minute period of time, which is unbelievable. However, the level of service and offerings have increased, exponentially, because Denver, being a larger department, greater scope of magnitude, greater number of people, they're able to provide services to us that we haven't had before, which has just been fantastic.
We're able to bring in multiple engine companies, multiple truck companies. Also, we staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, heavy rescue or specialized rescue apparatus. We also have a 24-hour-a-day hazardous materials response team. We also have our dive teams, we have our technical rescue teams, our collapse teams, and those are available 24/7.
The budget has been positively impacted. The city of Inglewood has struggled for a long time with both sources of revenue and its uses. We were facing a pretty dire fiscal cliff with respect to being able to service, being a full-service city. While we're still full service, but just through a contract, this particular agreement with Denver has actually saved us about $3.5 million just in its initial year.
What it does on the Denver side is we cover all of our costs. On the Inglewood side, we're able to reduce the amount of money that was expended on providing the emergency services, at the same time be able to increase the amount of resources that would be available to the Inglewood citizens. I believe it is a trend. We're starting to see it more and more, whether it's an actual merger of jurisdictions or greater use of auto aid and mutual aid agreements, where fire departments can say, we'll use some of our resources to benefit this, you use some of your resources, or all-out mergers. But it just makes sense. The less administration you can have and the more operational resources, the better level of service you can provide to the citizens.
Well, certainly collaboration amongst government needs to be the way of the future. There's no way with today's revenue climate, as well as just specialties of communities that they can go it alone. We believe very strongly in intergovernmental collaboration here in Inglewood, and we have a number of examples, the Denver Fire Agreement just being one of them. We have other agreements such as a shared use agreement with the City of Littleton for the treatment of wastewater, with the Littleton-Inglewood Wastewater Treatment Plant. We also work with Littleton's Public Works Department in that we own a pavement mill that we allow Littleton to utilize during the summertime. And in return, Littleton owns a pavement striping machine and they stripe all of our streets. Additionally, our service center currently maintains the vehicles not only for the City of Inglewood, but for Cherry Hills Village and the City of Sheridan. And we believe very strongly in cooperating with neighboring jurisdictions where we have our strengths. So for us, our public works is an area of strength that we're able to share with our surrounding communities, and we believe that it's incumbent upon government to be fiscally prudent to look at those opportunities for shared services. Well, certainly collaboration amongst government needs to be the way of the future.
It pays off huge.
The budget has been positively impacted.
Well, I think when any entity can save money, as local government, we're not here to make a profit. So anytime we can save money, we actually take that savings and put it into more services for the community.
If it wasn't for the county, I don't think the town could ever pull off the level of maintenance that we're able to do.
They're able to provide services to us that we haven't had before, which has just been fantastic.
We really all collaborate and try to come up with the best ways to serve the public. And so far it's working out really well.
We do depend on each other a lot. It's a community.